Georgetown, it's like 50 to 70 degrees, clouded showers. That's not here. Yeah. So I mean, it was cold by our house, but yeah. Because we have a gal, a regional leader, who moved temporarily to Texas because her husband's in the military, and she thought we were going there because it said on the website that's where we were going to be. So we were asking her, "What's the weather like?" So that's where she is. But Brett Sears is there, and we're here. Yeah, we thought it would. Yeah. So I hope you don't think I'm crazy. You know, what is wrong with her? She has a sweater on. So I just want to share a little bit about our story first. I'm the better one at telling that. I usually remember. Alan forgets real fast. So I'll just tell our story, and then I'll share with you guys kind of what my role and my part in the business is. To help us grow our organization. And that's the part I'm better at, is what I'm going to share with you guys, is getting recruits off to a fast start and licensing. That's my deal. Alan's deal is field training, you know, overcoming objections, being the head coach. That's his deal. I let him think he's the head coach sometimes. Most of the time, right? So I'm going to share with you just a little bit of our story so you know kind of where we come from. And that way it gives me a little bit of credibility, hopefully, okay? So I first was introduced to Primerica when I was 18 years old. I got my mutual fund. A coworker of mine said, hey, this guy in marketing, I used to work for Dunn Edwards Paint, which is a paint company in our West Coast area, and it's like the largest in the West Coast. And she said, hey, I sat with this guy in marketing, and his name's Pat, and he helped me set up an account that I'm going to have like $500,000 by the time I retire. And she's 1 year older than me, and I said, wow, I want that. And she said, go talk to Pat. So I prospected Pat for a mutual fund, and Pat came to my house. I was 18 at the time, definitely not recruitable. He came to my house. I lived in an apartment on the beach, very not ambitious, not motivated at that time whatsoever, only for the next party. That was kind of where I was, okay? So he knew he wasn't going to recruit me. But I got my $35 a month mutual fund started, which by the time I was 60-something was going to be about $600,000. And I didn't understand anything that he said. Back then, it was like a 32 or 52-page flip chart just on securities. And it was like 1997, 98 or so. And so I didn't understand nothing. I had a friend with me that was there, and I said, did you get that? And he said, yep. I said, is it good? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, $35. I really didn't understand what it was. I said, if half of what he said is true, $300,000 is better than nothing. Nobody in my family has $300,000, so I can risk it, right? That was kind of my thinking. At that time, I spent $35 on things I can't even remember anymore. So $35 was okay to waste, in my opinion, right? So I became a client first at 18. Then my second introduction to Primerica, nobody ever prospected me. I always seem to prospect Primerica, and then nobody prospects me today. I've never been approached. Nobody's ever prospected me out and about. So at 20, at work, I happened to meet this guy. His name was Alan Medrano. I was single. He was single at the time, and he started to pursue me. Started asking me out on dates. I said no for 3 straight months. I told him, no, I don't date people I work with. No, you're not my type. He really wasn't my type. Never went out with a Filipino, Asian. He was too short for me. I usually dated like 6'2". You know, he didn't play the sports that I usually dated guys who played baseball, either surfed or So he was so off my reservation, of prospects. So he just didn't give up. He just little by little. He was already in the business. He had been in Primerica for 6, 7, 8 months at the time. Already fully licensed, part-time. And the same gentleman who started my mutual fund was the one who recruited him at work, Pat. So Pat had recruited Alan. And actually, Alan prospected Pat, same thing. Alan had heard a guy sitting next to him in the cubicle talking about how he was so mad that his mutual fund only did 12% that year. And we had a credit union with Dunn Edwards that didn't pay squat for the savings account. So Alan was like, I gotta find out about this mutual fund thing. So he asked Pat, because him and Pat were friends, hey Pat, you know anything about mutual funds? And Pat said, yeah. I do that. And he goes, no, somebody who knows what they're doing. You know anything about mutual funds? And I goes, no, really, I do that. I help people part-time, nights, weekends. And Alan goes, well, tell me more. So Alan prospected Pat again, okay? And that's kind of where it started. Pat ended up getting Alan a mutual fund, got him his F&A, got him a plan to get out of debt. He was a little over almost $50,000 in credit card debt, student loans, car loans, things like that. He was 26 at the time. So Pat gave him a little insurance policy, $50,000 to cover that debt if something happened to him so he wouldn't burden his mother. And honestly, Alan prospected him again, and Pat followed up with Alan for about 8 weeks to get him to a meeting. Back then, Pat was working with our RVP, my current upline RVP, out of Marcus C. Younger's office, which is about an hour away from where we lived at the time, through traffic and LA traffic, you know. So Alan ended up 8 weeks, he found an excuse not to go to the meeting. And for 8 weeks, Pat just kept following up with them every off night, and finally Alan said, all right, man, I'll go. He gave him a bunch of excuses. My grandma died, my dog's sick, he had braces at the time, got to go to the dentist, my braces broke, you know, he came up with all these excuses. So finally one day he told Pat, okay, man, because he was ducking, like, at work, like, whenever he saw Pat, he was trying to, like, avoid him. So finally Pat's like, you know, you're going to come this week, so Alan goes, all right, man, I'll be there, but you got to pick me up. And Pat said, no problem. He was already outside waiting for him. So Alan goes, really? Because, yeah, I'm already outside. So, I mean, he was just really good at that. So he picked up Alan, took him to the meeting. Alan sat in front, just like this. Mark Younger spoke. I think Jorge and Sandy Benitez, I don't know if they were in the office at that time, but my RVP, Jay and Lauren Knott, they spoke. Rick and Debbie Harvest, they spoke. All brand new RVPs. Who are all make a lot of money now. And he heard all these speakers, and Mark Younger is not the best of speakers. Okay, he's very good one-on-one, but public speaking up front on stage, he's really not that good of a speaker. So Alan heard this guy, he goes, man, he just thought they all were horrible. Okay, all make a lot of money now, but he thought they were horrible. And he sat there with his arm folded, and at the end, Mark Younger held up IBAs, and the slide was, if you could take people from bank A to bank B, cash value to term, and you could make $200, $900 doing it, what would prevent you? And that's the only thing that perked Alan's ears. He's very money motivated, okay? That's his personality, very A-type personality. Very technical too, though, where he likes to understand things and dissect things at the same time. So he said, man, I got like 50 cousins. If I just helped them all, I could be out of debt. If I could help each of them get a bank A to bank B, I could get out of debt. So Mark Younger held up like 3 IVAs in his hand and said, you need to get one of these as fast as you can. You need to get in. Alan told Pat, hurry. We need to go get them before they run out. He thought the IVAs were going to run out. He goes, I want to join. So Alan ended up joining, okay, got involved. And back then, licensing fees were a lot bigger, a lot higher, and he turned in his background fee, his life license fee, and his securities fee all in one night. He dropped about $850, and he was already $50,000 in credit card debt. And Pat tried to tell him, maybe you should wait. Like, maybe you should wait on the securities license. He goes, no, man, if I can't get the securities license, I can't do the bank A to bank B, what's the use? He's like, just give it all to me, man. And so Pat goes, okay. So Pat gave him, Pat took all of his checks, his IBA, and then the next morning, Alan called Pat to quit. Because he thought about it, right? He went to sleep, and all of a sudden all these things, he started getting scared. I wrote $850 in checks, you know? So he called Pat, and he said, hey, Pat, did you cash those checks yet, man? He goes, oh, yeah, man, they're already gone. Welcome to the team. See you on Saturday. And Alan was like, damn, well, I guess I at least have to make $850, right? And then I can quit. That was kind of his mentality. And so he had been in the business about 8 months before I met him, fully licensed. And then when I met him, it was 3 months for me to go out with him. He started finding out things about me. He started prospecting me, literally finding out things I liked, took note of it, brought me like chocolate chip cookies, Miss Fields, my favorite. He would bring those, put them on my desk. He actually called me every hour on the hour for the 8 hours I worked and said, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? So when are we going out? Then when I would say, oh, I don't date people that I work with, well then quit. So he was very persistent, you know, would leave notes on my car, almost stalker-like, almost, you know, I got emails. Back then it was just internal emails, so I'd get an email from him. He made me laugh. That's what it came down to. And about 3 months of saying no, somehow he cornered me, we ended up going out, and the rest is history. And so we met in '97. We've been married for 8 years, but we've been together almost 13 years now. And I didn't get involved in the business until about a little over a year after we started dating. So it took, Alan, he literally stopped Primerica to start dating me and pursuing me. We spent a lot of time together. He didn't go on appointments anymore. He was missing meetings. so that he could go out with me. And then after a few months, I was like, hey, don't you do that thing? Like, I knew that he did that thing that Pat did that I had, you know, because I didn't understand it, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,